Hey everyone, True here. 1 year ago, the last Elmina was released and broke the meta. How about the brand new Fire Elmina now? Let's take a first look at her skills, AI, and potential. On the stats side, we see a big tilt towards attack, possibly even the highest attack and lowest SSR HP in the game. The high speed of 500 can only help her really. Her first active skill is Attack All Plus, which is clearly an improvement above the old Attack All skill, which cost 2 Spirit and 200 time units. Now with 130 time units, this is still quite some time, but there is an advantage. It ignores the counter stance and other skin passive skills. It only gives 50% damage, but within rage that's 75%. And it can really clean up some hold ground units of the enemy and possibly spread burn to activate her burn drive. Still, 130 TU is a lot of time. Fire Elmina's next skill is a really hot combo. Ignition and Enrage and heal 50% and give 2 spirit and only cost 50 time units. That's a lot of stuff going on there. Only condition being that she doesn't already have the burn status effect. This is not the only way for her to heal though, as we will see with the next two skills. We have Healing Burn Drive, which is an interesting combination. So on the one hand, we have the classical Burn Drive, which improves in damage the more units are burned for, or more than 6 units on the battlefield. But the addition is that all the burning allies will be healed for 300% of Fire Elmina's attack, which is really nice if you have a burn team running and if she gets it off. Of course, it costs 2 spirits and 130 time units, so that's quite some time, but it is a strong skill nonetheless. Last but not least, Burn Drain Plus 400% damage and heals for 100% of HP, so a full heal for just 1 spirit and 100 time units. So we see 3 skills that can heal, and moving on to the passive skills, we can also see that in many circumstances, if she gets the turn, she will probably get to heal because she has the Burning Heart passive. What does that mean? If she burns, she has basically a hold ground. If she reaches that hold ground, then she loses the burn status. And what that means is that if she gets her turn and is on 1 HP, she can easily do the Ignition Rage heal. The biggest danger for her in terms of circumstance is getting the turn on low HP, still burning, but with 0 spirit, because then she cannot do the Burn Drain Plus. She will probably do the Attack All Plus, and that will take a very, very long time until she gets another turn, which she may not get after all. But let's look at her second passive, and that one is really, really good. If it was just the Burn Stun entry, as is the name of it, then it would be even better, but let's dive into it. So if she enters the battlefield, every enemy is granted the burn status effect, and this is really, really strong. On the one hand, against cleaning up some hold ground characters, and on the other hand, for cleaning up some status effects and enabling burn drives and the rest of your burn team. And then, on top of that, we also have the stun entry, which is a 50% chance on every opponent for 100 TU each. What that means is that on average, this is an entry like Storm Relocious. It can really tilt the battle in your favor, obviously, if she stuns all the units for 100 TU, but the chance of that happening is only around 6%. Still very, very nice. And the problem with this skill kind of comes with the last sentence here, which is this unit cannot be sent to the reinforcements from the battlefield. Basically, she is immovable like Dark Sheen and Light Sheen. And what that means for her in this case is that this is more of a protection, I think, for the enemy team or against abusing her. because that entry is really strong, she doesn't really have any survivor skills, so the immovable status really only helps her possibly to keep weapon effects unlocked. And speaking of weapons, we have mace and sword. In any case, I would recommend a weapon that at least partially reduces the time units, as this just might be her biggest problem to survive. Now let's take a look at Fire Elmina's AI handling with the help of Nizetto's Evertale Toolbox. We can see that her hate is completely tied to burn, and on the one hand that's how many units on the battlefield are burning right now, and on the other hand it's is Fire Elmina burning right now. And while she isn't burning straight away when she enters the battlefield, remember her passive skill. The burn stun entry means that the 4 enemies will directly be burning, and then you might have some other burning units on your side, and the hate will already be very high for Fire Elmina. She will also get the burn status herself very quickly, and then it will just be through the roof. Granted, she does have Burning Heart, so if the burn settles down a bit on the battlefield, less than 4 units are burning and she herself isn't burning because she reached Burning Heart at 1 HP, then she might be able to fly under the radar for a bit and regain composure with that Ignition Rage heal. Now looking at her active skill weights, obviously there are some additional modifiers at play here, but this gives a general idea of it. So Attack All Plus is gonna be a priority for her AI most likely, if she is burning, which means she might be reliable at spreading fire and cleaning out hold ground units. The Ignition Rage heal will be a priority in most cases if she isn't already burning. One exception may be if she gets a good healing burn drive off, which also obviously needs some conditions to be fulfilled. Then the Burn Drain Plus she will prioritize if her health is pretty low and she's burning. That does look a bit weird at first, but it could help some, for example, up and coming burn players, because even at 1 copy she will do a pretty good job. Her stun entry already unlocks independent of a full awakening, and she can keep spreading fire if she survives. She doesn't need to have huge stats for that. And it may also make her relevant for non-burn players to potentially use, but we will have to see about that. Definitely need to keep her away from your poison or sleep team, because burn will obviously override that. And I would also keep her away from too many of your hold ground units. All in all, I think Fire Elmina will be a very good addition to your burn team. However, I don't think she will break the meta like Storm Elmina did. Her TU and hate just seem a bit too high, and it is a pity that her burn stun entry is not reusable. All said, I think the highest achievable tier for Fire Elmina in my tier list will be the S tier if a lot of things go in her favor. Freya and Bright Astrid in the meantime will stay the superior fire units. If you are not dead set on getting her, I would recommend waiting for a few days until we have some live experiences from the battlefield of this Bunnygirl Assassin Elmina. That's it for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a true carrot, and as always, thanks for watching.